Welcome to the May 18th, 2026 Troy City Council meeting. We ask that you silence your cell phones for the duration of the meeting. Invocation and Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be led by Mr. Whitten. Please stand.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let us begin this meeting with a shared commitment to wisdom, integrity, and service to our community. May we listen with respect, speak with honesty, and work together for the good of all residents. Let our decisions reflect fairness, compassion, and thoughtful stewardship of the public trust. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Knight, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Hickman? Here. Mr. Schilling?
Present.
Mrs. Marshall? Here. Mr. Twist?
Here.
Mr. Whitten?
Here.
Mr. Siebert?
Here.
Mr. Phillips?
Here.
Mrs. Westfall? Mrs. Snee?
Move to excuse Mrs. Westfall.
Second.
Motion to excuse Mrs. Westfall by Mr. Schilling, second by Mrs. Marshall. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall? Yes. Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman? Yes. Mrs. Westfall is excused.
Move to excuse Mrs. Snee.
Second.
Motion to excuse Mrs. Snee by Mr. Siebert, seconded by
Like four of us?
Ms. Hickman. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mrs. Marshall? Yes. Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert? Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman? Yes. Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Snee is excused.
Will you please read the summary of the minutes of the May 4th meeting, please?
Minutes of Council, May 4, 2026. Committee reports. Finance Committee recommended legislation be prepared to execute a cooperative agreement with the Dayton-Montgomery County Port Authority related to the Terrace Ridge project. Streets and Sidewalks Committee recommended legislation be prepared authorizing bidding of the downtown street safety and streetscape renovation project. Resolution number R25, 2026, contract for the downtown safety streetscape renovation project was given first reading and was adopted. Resolution number R26, 2026, resolution authorizing an agreement with the Port Authority of Dayton-Montgomery County regarding Terrace Ridge, first reading and adopted. Ordinance number O23, 2026, easements for highway purposes along McCaig was given first reading and adopted. Ordinance number O24, 2026, accepting final application for the annexation of the McAdams annexation was given first reading and adopted. Following various comments, Council had an executive session and adjourned at 8:33.
Move to accept the minutes. Second.
Motion to accept the minutes by Mr. Whitten, second by Mr. Phillips. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman? Yes. Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall? Yes. Minutes are approved.
Thank you. Committee reports tonight. We'll start with Finance and Mr. Siebert.
Thank you, Mr. President. This committee met May 11th to consider the 2026 funding to the Troy Development Council, TDC, which has been delayed while the process of defining the TDC's role as the city's economic development partner was taking place. It is the recommendation of this committee that legislation be prepared authorizing funding of the Troy Development Council in the amount of $140,000 for 2026 based upon quarterly payments. The committee supports emergency legislation so that the first two quarter payments to the TDC can be made. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Whitten, Ms. Westfall, and myself as chairman.
Any questions or concerns? Thank you, sir. Mr. Schilling, you have an oral report.
Yes, I do. Thank you. The Ohio Division of Liquor Control has transmitted a notice of application for a new D5 permit for SB Troy Hospitality LLC, 845 West Market Street. This is the location of a former Mexican restaurant. The managing partner is listed as Steve Bruns. The police department has not recommended an objection or hearing request be filed. That ends the report.
You asked for it to be approved.
Um,
Motion, right?
I do have a question on
You just read
Okay,
it.
if you have a question, ask a question.
Yeah, under the information that was given to us, we currently have, for this D5, we have a 14 permit quota given to us by the state of Ohio. Right now, we have 12 permits issued, so the permits available are 2, but we have 3 applications on file. Who gets what on that?
It's up to the state.
The state evaluates who, and I don't know if it's just simply first come, first serve. They take into consideration any comments, any objections, but that's strictly their process.
Okay, so we don't have anything to do with that then? Okay.
Only if we've got objections and we file them through the police department.
Okay, thank you so much.
So basically, the third one's kind of out of luck.
Well,
For
they're
the
out of
time
luck
being.
unless one becomes available in the meantime.
Yeah.
Is that when it could be potentially put on the ballot, or no? How does that work when it puts?
Trex permit, right?
Okay.
Ballot
Like,
issues are
yeah.
typically Sunday sales
Okay.
or things like that.
Okay.
The third could apply for a Trex permit, is that correct?
There are other processes that they can go through, yes.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There's no action.
We don't need to
No.
act on it.
No, it's just read for the record.
Just committee read it, you're good. We've come to the point where citizens' comments on anything on the committee reports or anything on the agenda. At this time, it'd be a 2-minute time limit. You come to the podium, and on recommendation of Mr. Kerber, that also includes any comments you would like to make on Mr. Schilling's proposed amendment that will happen a little later on. So if anybody wants to make comments, please step forward.
Hi, Matt Breen, 1435 Edinburgh Drive, Troy, Ohio. I wanted to speak briefly about the resolution to change the plan for the downtown to add the flashing lights for the crosswalks. I remember being here about a year ago when the report and the recommendations were first made, and at that time there was extensive discussion about using those or not. At that time, the recommendation for the experts that I believe we paid for was that they are not needed, and they actually reduce the amount of attention from drivers going through there because they get used to them being there. And so to me, it seems like we're going to be going against expert recommendations if we adopt that resolution to install something at an expense of around $160,000. I don't think that's something that we should be spending our money on if it goes against the advice from our experts and the study that we have done for ourselves. At the same time, I just wanted to also ask if there was a reason why the no turn on red sign was removed from McCaig and Elm Street corner. Thank you.
What was the street again?
McKagan, what?
McKagan.
McKagan and Elm Street, we removed the right turn on red. That was done, I don't know,
Probably 3 weeks ago.
it's been longer than that. It's a month or two.
Goes onto
After
my road.
evaluating it and monitoring it, I decided that we would remove that. We can always reinstate it. It's working well there. This is on Elm as you're turning right onto McKay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It felt scary at first, but it is fine.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment on anything?
Steve Hendrickson at 975 Dickerson. I think the experts saying the flashing lights are really a waste. I think they ought to be here sometime when there's a lot of traffic there and then bring their family and try to cross the street. If anybody is blinded by the flashing yellow lights, they ought to give up their driver's license. The idea is to keep the pedestrians safe. it is our downtown, and we ought to do what we have to do to make it safe. Now, we can say no now, and then we can say, oh, 3 years down the road or 2 years, whenever it's all done, and we have some pedestrians run over, then we're going to say, oh, geez, I got an idea. Let's put in some flashing lights at probably 8 times the cost of doing it now. So as minimum, you ought to put in the infrastructure so that the lights can be added later, after everybody decides to talk about it till the cows come home. But anyway, it seems like a small price to pay in a $12 million project. We've already rejected some of the experts' opinion. You know, they were the ones that wanted 2 lanes going around the circle. We've thrown that away. Let common sense prevail. So we all live here, so that's what my opinion is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Stewart, 1486 Cheshire Road, Troy, Ohio. I want to, first of all, ask how many of you saw the video, the downtown video, after the stoplights were removed. How many of you saw that child catapult across somebody's hood? What if that was your child? What if that was your mother, father, grandchild? Safety should not be an option here. It should not have a money amount on it. Those should have been installed right after those were removed. After the stoplights were removed, those beacons should have been there so they could be actuated by any pedestrian crossing the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we will move on to resolutions. Mrs. Knight, could you please read Resolution R 27, 2026?
Resolution number R 27, 2026. Resolution approving funding to the Troy Development Council for Economic Development for the City of Troy, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. This would be the funding for 2026, total amount of $140,000. First reading.
Move for suspension. Excuse me, that motion is out of order.
We got any comments or concerns about this before we go forward?
On Mr. Schilling or on the comment?
On the resolution.
I don't have any comments on it, just I'm saying the motion was out of order, based on Robert Rules of Order.
Why?
Because after a piece of legislation comes to the floor, it is up to the chairman, in this case our president of the council, to start a discussion, or what they call a debate. And then once the debate has been opened and closed, then motions can be made.
So I'm asking, do you have any comments or questions or debate that you want to have? Apparently we have not. We have a motion for Mr. Phillips to suspend the rules, correct?
Correct.
Second.
And we had a second by Mr. Twist.
Point of order, this is for R 27, 2026, or is this for the amendment to R 25?
No, this is 2027. It's actually each one that we usually go through. Mrs. Knight, will you please call the roll on R 27, 2026 for the suspension of readings?
Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Twist, second by Mr. Phillips. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
ask a technical question from Mr. Kerber. Generally, when a motion is made and then requiring a second, or nobody's going to second, but if it does get a second, that's when the debate is started, not prior to. Is that correct?
Well, historically, that has not been, I don't think that's always been the case. Generally speaking, the chair has had given an opportunity to speak one way or the other for all council members, and that's appropriate. As far as if you want it before or after the motions, it should occur at some point in time. I can clarify the technicalities of that if we want to do that, but at least in all my time here, there has been an opportunity for debate at one time or another. But if you want further clarification, I can provide that to you.
I think I'm correct on that point, but yes, if you would send that out, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Moving forward, Mrs. Knight, will you please read Resolution R-26, 2026?
R-28, 2026. Resolution authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety of the City of Troy, Ohio, to employ counsel for the purposes of employment related to services during calendar year 2026. First reading.
We got any questions on this? Motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Whidden.
Second.
Second by Mr. Twist. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll on the suspension.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes. Just adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Sievert, second by Mr. Twist. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Mr. Schilling has a,
I have a motion, or a move to amend, please.
yes.
Okay. Before we get into the amendment, I do have some comments which were during the discussion period, so we can do that. We talked last time about distractions and slowing traffic. These are some of the criticisms of these lights. A new word popped up called clutter, and I wanted to bring to your attention where we are today. In other words, that today in the entrance to the roundabout on the public square, we have two signs on each side of the street per roadway. And of course those signs are the yellow and black, and they have an arrow pointing down, and we're talking about pedestrian crosswalk. Those signs wouldn't change if we put in these flashing beacon lights. They use exactly the same sign. And then, of course, we have our amazing blinking light in the center by the flower pots. This blinking light does not turn off and on, but is on all the time. Of course, if we do these pedestrian lights, they do have blinking lights, but they're only turned on when the pedestrian hits the button. Okay, so they're not on all the time. So they come on and draw attention to what's going on. And then the other part of this installation we have right now, we have the solar panels, which sit on top or near the blinking lights in the center of the by the flower pots. And these solar panels, if we approve them, would then be moved to the top of the two signs on either side. So essentially, by doing this, we are eliminating one sign, and if we're talking about distractions, that is one distraction we don't have. And again, it would end some of the clutter, because again, we're removing one complete sign. And then the other thing I'd like to talk about was the effectiveness. And I know these lights have, based on the studies, has an effective rate anywhere from mid-20s up to 98%, depending on how you measure. And I wanted to especially bring back the comments that was made by the gentleman from the Kettering Health Center, in that he gave us some data on some of the near misses that happened with the pedestrian lights there at Kettering Health Center. And I did a drive-by of the parking lot, and I noted at least 75 vehicles in that parking lot. And we know that there's 2 shifts usually with the hospital. So we have 75, if we have 75 cars, and that was probably a light count, but we'll use that for our discussion. That means that 75 people parked there, 75 employees of Kettering Healthcare Center parked there, crossed the street, went to work. At the end of their shift, they left the hospital, crossed the street again, went home. So 2 times 75 is 150, times 2 shifts, that's 300 crossings a day at that light. The hospital's open 365 days a year. That comes out to 109,000 crossings at that crosswalk in a year's time. The hospital, I believe, has been open about 5 years, so that over the last 5 years we've had 547,000 crossings. 547,000 crossings at that crosswalk. And you know, we had a few examples of things when they don't work right. If you use the 98% success rate of these beacons times the 547,000, I mean, we would have had 11,000 incidences where somebody didn't pay attention and drove through the light with a pedestrian in the crosswalk. 11,000. I don't think we've reached that number. And then the other question I have for you is, as we're talking about traffic monitors or traffic lights or whatever, traffic control devices. I can't think of one traffic control device that works 100% of the time. You know, we run red lights, we blow through stop signs. How many times do we read about during the course of the school year that somebody passes a school bus with all the blinking lights and the stop sign that comes out on the side of the bus and the rail that goes out in front of the bus to keep the kids out from walking in front of the bus? How many do we get in a year's time? I guess about 1 a month. Again, traffic control devices don't work at 100%. They just don't. And to say that, well, these things don't work or lose effectiveness, I don't think that's really what we're talking about here. Is that, yeah, people are at times very careless with their driving, and they don't pay attention to what's going on. And the lights there, I mean, the blinking lights, that's the last best thing that we can do. I mean, again, the first word in this ordinance is safety, downtown safety, downtown safety. That should be our primary concern. It's not downtown moving traffic, but downtown safety. And we're talking about safety, we're talking about our residents and our visitors and our workers and everybody else, and the kids that, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Market Street Bridge is full of kids going across that bridge and going through the downtown. And I guarantee you they're not paying attention to what's going on because they're all busy talking to each other. And again, so it's safety is what we're talking about here. So again, we need 5 votes. So with this, I'll read the move to amend. I move to amend resolution
Mr. Rosella, are we having a discussion
We're
now?
going to have it.
You can have a discussion.
Okay.
Sure.
We're going to have it after he gets his amendment on the record.
Okay.
And we'll
Okay.
continue.
That'd be fine. I appreciate that, Mr.
If it
President.
doesn't have a second, it goes nowhere.
Okay. I move to amend Resolution R25-2026, Downtown Safety Streetscape Renovation Project, as previously adopted by the Troy City Council on May 4th, 2026, to have Section 1 of Resolution R25-2026 read as follows. Section 1, that the Director of Public Service and Safety of the City of Troy, Ohio is hereby authorized to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the Downtown Safety Streetscape Renovation Project in accordance with the specifications now on file in the Office of the Director of Public Service and Safety, and to add specifications for the purchase and installation of 8 double-sided rectangular rapid flashing beacons, RRFBs, at a cost not to exceed $12,160,000 and no cents. That's $12,160,000, and we added an extra $10,000 on there for the cost overrun. So again, to be voted on, the motion requires a second, and then it also is debatable and subject to amendment. And to successfully amend the resolution, 5 votes on the council will be required.
Move to discussion. Thank you, Mr. Schilling and Mr. President. With regards to your...
Before we get to discussion, are we going to get a second? Anybody want to second the motion?
I'm going to say that in a second.
Okay.
I appreciate having a few comments. First, with regards to the pending motion, I do plan on seconding the motion. I think Mr. Schilling deserves that. What occurred last time, I believe if Ms. Westfall was here, she would second the motion. I do believe that it needs to go forward and be heard. With regards to the merits, one of the most difficult cases I was ever involved in was a woman was going to visit her OBGYN at Miami Valley Hospital, and she got run over by a nurse who had completed 2 consecutive shifts and was distracted by lights that were the sun beaming down from mirrors on the old crosswalk at Miami Valley Hospital. If you ever remember that crosswalk, the mirrors did that. I agree with Mr. Schilling in the concept that nothing is going to be completely safe. That is why we do rely upon experts in my profession. We have experts testify continually and consistently. And can you pick up the phone and get an expert to confer differently? Absolutely. That's how defense counsel and plaintiff's counsel make decisions, and it becomes a credibility question. I reached out to one of the biggest developers in downtown and asked him what he thought about this, and his response was, nothing should be done at this time until it's redone. It should cure 90% of the problem with the bump outs, the 1 lane, the island, and everything else. I concur with Mr. Hendrickson. In part, I don't believe that we need to do the infrastructure, because I went around today after driving 10 hours and looked at the ones that are in existence, and they all appear to be solar powered. I think Mr. Brindell will tell you that the ones at the hospital, because I saw they were solar powered, the ones in front of Baird's are solar powered. So if, after we've concluded this, and it's determined after we see it with our own eyes, that we are a better expert than the expert that we hired, and we believe that additional safety measures should occur, I believe that we will have the capacity and the ability to implement that at the time. So I do plan on voting, or on seconding Mr. Schilling's amendment, because I do believe that that's the appropriate thing to do. That are my feelings. I'm not trying to advocate or sway anybody else on council, but since we are opening this up for further discussion, that is my feelings with regards to the pending motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Mr. Schilling made a motion, Mr. Sievert seconded. Anybody else want to jump in?
Sure. As to Ms. Stewart's earlier comment about the pedestrian accident that was in front of Agave and Rye, I watched that video many times and watched it critically in slow motion and real time. And that young juvenile had run eastbound on the sidewalk from Agave and Rye over towards Ruby's and ran into the crosswalk. Just as the car approached the crosswalk itself as it was going southbound, and he jumped and slid across the hood without even looking, without even stopping or considering anything. Whether there was a light there would have made no difference. So it was a non-applicable issue on this sort of thing, so it's a misrepresentation. But whether there's a light there or not, to your point, Mr. Schilling, nothing is 100%. It all falls onto the pedestrian, the driver, the bicyclist, the motorcyclist, the personal responsibility. And the rules of the road are published. They're brought forth by the police department. And in junior high for Safety Town, for bicycle rules, I had a conversation with 3 young gentlemen Saturday evening about bicycles, the motorized, that we've been having a problem with, and I'm fairly positive that these were 3 of the folks that probably have been complained about, and they were oblivious. They were very polite, but they were oblivious to use of their vehicle and other things. So there is some merit to having signs and signals, but there's also the personal responsibility issue that generally is 90+% of the reason for the accidents, whether there's a sign there or not.
As someone who works and lives downtown, I work at Ruby's. For those of you that don't know, I watched that accident happen that day, and I watched the children of the square every single day. What we need to very much get into our children is to pay attention to their surroundings. They are running and screaming constantly. We say at the salon at this point it's about to be cry wolf, because it sounds like someone is getting hit every single day. It sounds like somebody's getting kidnapped every single day. And there's times where I do go out there and I say, hey, like, we hear you plain as day from inside the salon. I have called the cops when I watch them run and they duck down in between the planters. I watch them do all kinds of silliness within the square. I have lived downtown and worked downtown for 10 years, and the biggest thing I do is I make eye contact with the vehicle that is coming towards me. That is what we need to be on everybody about. It's personal responsibility. Will there always be accidents? Absolutely, 100%. I agree with Mr. Sievert. A lot of the safety aspects that are coming into the remodel, I think, will be a lot of help. And worst case scenario, not worst case scenario, we hope, but say when it's done, we see it and we feel that we need to add it, then we can do so. Thank you.
Question for anyone, but maybe the Service and Safety Director. When American Structure Point was here giving their presentation, their recommendation was not to put in the RFBs, right? Have we reached back out to have them double check, reinforce their recommendation, or are they standing on that recommendation?
They're fine. We've shown them the research that we did, the 16 studies as well. So that's why their estimate and their recommendations for Resolution 2020 or 25-2026 were what they were.
Okay. Public safety is a very strong concern that is one of the core tenets of what a city government should do, is provide public safety for a reasonable. I don't have any problem with the flashing lights in general. I don't know, based on the information I have, whether it'll be a help exactly. I am concerned as a steward of the public funds that I don't want to spend money unnecessarily. So without, for me, this is an issue that could go a couple different ways. I didn't get overwhelming support for yes from the public. I didn't get overwhelming support for no from the public. I got kind of a little bit of both, maybe because it's a newer amendment. I don't know if the public had enough time to digest it all. Maybe that's the reason I didn't hear as much public input on this. I think if we have the ability to go back and look at this again, maybe our opinions might change, but without any other new information, I don't want to fall back on this as a crutch, but it's something I feel like I have to. We have people who have doctorate degrees in road management and traffic engineering saying, this probably isn't the best case for you guys. Let's not do this. I think that's a fine position to stand on with all the other safety improvements we're trying to do downtown. If that doesn't end up being the case, hey, we can come back and change it. So that's where my head's at right now with the proposed amendment.
Mrs. Marshall, any comments?
I would
agree with everything that was stated. I think I work with those children every day. They don't listen. They don't pay attention. We do the best we can to get them to understand those kind of things. I don't think they're going to pay attention to the lights. They don't pay attention to what's down there now. I agree with, the new design is what is supposed to help, and I hope that that does help. And if we are able to go back once we see that we can do more, we should do more, then I think we could move forward with that. But like Mr. Whidden says, to spend that money, everybody is telling us to stop spending money all the time. I think that we need to see how this pans out first.
Not to leave you out, Mr. Twist, any comments?
Everyone has made lots of good points, but I would be on the, as Councilman Whidden said, not spending the funds now, but having the ability once the design that we have to improve safety down there, does it work or does it not? And then we can always add. That would be my opinion at this point, because I am not a road management expert or have a doctorate in it.
I'm assuming they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anybody else have any further comments? So we will move on to roll call vote on Mr. Schilling's proposed amendment.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall?
No.
Mr. Twist?
No.
Mr. Whidden?
No.
Mr. Sievert?
No.
Mr. Phillips?
No.
Ms. Hickman?
No.
Motion fails adoption.
Thank you. And thanks for all the input. Moving on to comments. We have any announcements, Mrs. Knight?
Just to remind you that the Memorial Day ceremonies will be next Monday for those of you who are planning on being there.
10 o'clock at the bridge,
10:30 at the
10:30
bridge,
at the
11 at the
bridge.
cemetery. Yes.
Adam Street. Mayor?
I was going to mention that. Just thank you to the American Legion Post 43 for organizing the Memorial Day event.
Director of Public Service and Safety, Mr. Pickerington.
Related to Memorial Day, we are closed on the 25th, but trash and recycling pickup will remain on schedule. That's all I have. Thank you.
Auditor is not here. Director of Law.
I have no comments this evening.
All righty. So you're not last this week, Mr. Sievert.
Thank you. A couple of things. I want to congratulate Janelle Kreitz and the Center Stage for their event at Hobart, not this most recent weekend, but last weekend. We walked downtown a lot, and walking past Hobart, seeing all the kids in their costumes and the dance thing, I think they filled 2 whole days is what I was told. So congratulations to them, and it's nice to see that the city was I'm sure they worked out something, but it was nice to see it downtown. I remember going to that at the auditorium at the high school with my little one, and it was hot and crazy. Second thing is, Mrs. Marshall briefly spoke on this, and I'm chairman of the Finance Committee, as was intimated today. I think we all saw not this past Tuesday, but Tuesdays before elections, and I concur with what Ms. Marshall said. The spigot of spending money needs to be slowly turned on, and I think going forward that's something that we'll talk about significantly in the future.
Mr. Schilling.
I have no comments at this time.
Mrs. Marshall.
I actually have a couple of questions. So with everything, with the summer coming, I know there's going to be a lot of kids, a lot more downtown. We've had discussion about the electric scooters. I know there are signs downtown. Do they have anything on those signs that say anything about the scooters? Because I'm telling you, if they say just bikes, those kids will argue. Will they say just bikes? Because they will. And I know they're not allowed. And I know that the police are going to be really cracking down on that a lot. So is there any way that something else can be put on there? Can we put more out on social media? Get some information somewhere out to the kids, the parents, to talk to them about that, just to kind of cover us so we can say, yeah, we did say that, or yes, you do, it is right here.
Number one, we do have a few signs downtown. Certainly, we're always resistant to adding more sign clutter, but we'll look at that and what we may be able to put on there. We'll talk to the law director about that, number one. Number two, we have periodically been putting some information out on social media. In talking, though, today with the police chief, he mentioned the zero tolerance policy. We are going to ramp up the enforcement, particularly in the downtown. I mean, it is a citywide issue, but the downtown is unique. And at the same time, he's going to be talking with our communication coordinator to have more of a series of educational pieces so that people understand what they can't do, but also what the various categories of vehicles, if you will, are, because they're different classes, what they mean, what they can and can't do, just kind of break it down a little bit so there's not a lot of information to digest all at once. And then we'll just rotate that on social media from time to time.
Okay. My next question was, at the last meeting, at the end where there were comments, there was something mentioned, I heard, about the roundabout, or a roundabout over on Experiment Farm Road, and I don't remember hearing that recently. Is that an ODOT project, or is that a city project?
So this goes back to I want to say it's either an STP or a CMAQ project, which are ODOT acronyms, and it relates to transportation funding. We have been on their 5-year long-range plan that MVRPC administers on our behalf, and that is the project at the intersection of West Main Street and Experiment Farm that we've been studying. We've had, coincidentally, American Structure Point is the engineer that has been doing that project. For the record, I think somebody mentioned American Structure Point. It's actually LJB that's been leading the streetscape project here. But American Structure Point has done they did the initial study, if you'll recall, last year, a year ago, at some point, ODOT required us to update that study. That's all related to that intersection. The initial study recommendations were a roundabout. That's not the final decision. The question, and then subsequently they've done a new study and submitted that to ODOT for their review and acceptance. And that's part of the process that ODOT runs. They continue to recommend, based on the new standards, warrants, and data points, a roundabout, but that does not mean that it's going to happen. The question that was asked at the last meeting was, who makes that final determination? As I mentioned then, and I'll mention again, we had thought that decision, and still may be, that that ODOT makes that final decision. We are clarifying that. They are discussing it at District 7, ODOT, and they are going to get back to us to let us know what they decide. What they decide, the question we're asking them at this point is who makes that final decision, not what is that decision. There are several steps in the process that still need to be gone through as part of the ODOT process that every project, every community goes through. The next significant step, once the report has been edited, amended per ODOT, and ODOT accepts that report, there will be a public meeting on the topic that is tentatively set for July 7th. So there is some time. That is a 2028 project, so we're still in the analysis and final decision, whoever makes that decision. So there's not that emergency or urgency, but it was asked at the last meeting, and so we are continuing to work through that, and we'll have an update for the council.
So if they say a roundabout, that's what has to be done, but if...
That
depends on
may
who
be
says-
the case,
Yeah.
that may not be the case. We want to clarify that with ODOT. How do we get to a final decision point? Is that as a typical City of Troy project where we can have meetings and then ultimately the decision is made by authorizing bidding in a particular way based on specs that are on record, or does ODOT have a more direct influence, if not decision-making power, since that project has a significant amount of state funding and is part of the state highway?
When do we expect to know who makes that decision?
It's forthcoming. I mean, it's maybe, within a week or two. We're hoping to have
I would
a
hope
definitive
it's before
answer.
the proposed meeting.
Might change the meeting date.
Yeah, good.
I will add, if you don't mind, Patrick and Mr. President, that intersection has been on ODOT's radar for 20, 25 years or more. They have reconfigured it, redone lanes, changed the timing. They've done about as much as they can do, and we're at a point where they want something done. There's no more changing the lights and all that. So we're kind of at a breaking point with it.
I spoke with someone from ODOT. I respectfully will disagree. I'm not going to say anything at this time.
Disagree with what?
With the comments that were just made. I don't believe that this is a 100% ODOT-approved project. I believe there's a safety person at ODOT that has interest in this. I believe that there are higher-ups in ODOT that think that this is a ridiculous city-driven project.
Well, and I
We can talk, it's no reason
First
to
of all,
talk about it in public right now.
Well, first of all, you're assuming that we've gotten direction, which we haven't gotten yet. Whether you want to say it's a ridiculous city-driven project, that would be wrong.
I didn't say that, Patrick.
That's not what he said.
I quoted.
Well, I'm not sure that you did, but we can talk to the deputy director. But again, we're asking for clarification as to who has the final say on this project. We will let you know, and we will move forward accordingly.
So if the city says, we don't want to do this because that's the general consensus of 90% of the people that we've talked to, then we will have the power to do that.
You are asking me, you are making a conclusion when we don't have an answer to that yet, Mr. Seaver.
Okay.
Anything else, Mrs. Marshall?
No, I heard that last week and I didn't get a chance to ask, and so today was the day. I'm good.
Thank you. Mr. Pitt.
I'd like to thank all the members of the public who came out tonight. We have a little bit larger crowd than we normally have. Thank you very much for coming. We have better meetings when we have more members of the public here. Please come back our next meeting, which will be the first week in June. If not, please at some other point in the future, please come back. We have better meetings when you're here.
Ms. Hickman.
So I had a pretty busy week the other week. We had the Habitat for Humanity's just rock the block. I just skipped my brain for a second. They ended up with 16 houses, which was really cool. So it took place in the neighborhood across from the boathouse, so Miss Kelly Snyder's neighborhood. And driving through that area now, it's great. There's houses that you can see that you couldn't see before. There's houses that look brand new. It is a really wonderful project, and Scott Barr, who is, I don't know his actual title, the director? Yeah, the director of Habitat for Humanity is a wonderful human being, and every experience I've had with him, I've done this for 2 years in a row, and it's a really fun event to be a part of. And then we also had Truck Yard on that Friday, and even though the rain was forecasted to start at 5 o'clock, and it luckily held off for at least a good hour or so, I thought we had a really great turnout, especially for how crappy the weather was looking to be. And I think we had quite a few people that came and checked out the renderings of Hurlinger Park and the new canal or riverfront area. I don't know why I said canal. The riverfront area. So always be involved in your community. Pay attention to the things that are going around you. We have so many cool events to get information out. And they're fun to be a part of and hang out with your neighbors and meet new people.
Mr. Phillips.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Titterington, on the last item of interest in the engineering project status report, it's 2007. It refers to Pleasant View Estates, and the question that apparently from the developer was requirements for the bridge required in section 4. Has there ever been an update to that? Do you have anything at this moment?
No, we provided a response to them. They've not, and that's on there not because we've never taken it off from 2007. It's been asked much more recently than that. We gave the proposed developer the information and have not gotten any update or any feedback from him.
Gotcha. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Twist.
Nothing this evening.
Maybe on a little lighter note, on a call today, refresh my memory. Well, we'll get with visit. We talked about this bikes and speed and all that stuff, and last meeting you made a comment that the state's, or the police chief made the state's looking into doing some of that. Do we know if they've made any progress, or heavens no, I know.
Well, it's only been 2 weeks, Bill.
Yeah, I know.
mean,
that's
we
why-
get it done this session.
Yeah, I understand.
I'll be.
There was just an article in the Dayton Daily News this morning regarding this, and that the state is looking at it, but that it is an issue for every community. The police department has put out a wheels chart, is what they call it.
I saw that.
So many different kinds of bikes and vehicles, so many different sized motors. The schools have that and talk to the kids. The rec has it at their place, and they're talking to the kids. The resource officers go to the rec and are talking to the kids.
Great.
It's not just kids though. There
Oh,
are
true,
adults.
absolutely.
So,
And I've told, talking to an officer the last couple of days, some of them are classified as toys, which is another problem.
it's a huge
Am I
problem for the
venting?
country, actually.
Other than that, on a lighter note, and maybe we've done this, maybe we've covered it and I forgot, one phone call today, since we're celebrating the 250th year and the 50th, all that stuff, this person asked if anybody came up with the idea or anticipating or even wants to make a time capsule. Have anybody covered that, or any interest in that, or?
There's a 250 committee, and I don't know, I have not heard that come up.
Okay.
No, I think
We'll put you in that time capsule.
Hey, I'll make it to 100 then. Other than that, we have someone from Leadership Troy, correct? Step up, say hi.
Hi, I'm Libby Wilson. I'm the Leadership Troy this year, and so I'm...
Welcome.
Yes.
Mr. Brendel's also here. He loves to monitor our meetings. we're still selecting a replacement?
Y'all are better off, and I'm better off if I keep my mouth shut. So, but on a very positive note, we are going through the process of bringing forward a candidate to the board of the Troy Area Chamber of Commerce and the board of the Troy Development Council. Getting board approval is the next step. We have pretty close to the ideal candidate, so we're really pleased with that. And thank you for the funding this evening as well. So that's it from the TDC and TAC. Just as a note for the minutes, my comments 2 weeks ago, I need to make sure that it was not written, and as Mr. Schilling may have thought I was speaking, I was not speaking on behalf of Kettering Health. I retired from them in November. I'm not permitted to speak on their behalf, so I just want to make sure that was clear.
You just gave examples.
Yeah, so, thank you.
So that gets us to the public, or staff, unless you want to get any info on your new program you're going to start, information you're going to spread?
They happen to catch me looking like, oh, I know something about this. We're very excited to start our new campaign on what you can ride where, and Mayor mentioned the exact thing I was going to say, which was that Kelly was very helpful, the rec was very helpful with posting our last set of posters when we did a campaign a couple of years ago, especially since they've got a window where kids tend to congregate. So we'll get back in touch with them and the schools. Again, both very helpful organizations.
Thank you. Public, any public people?
Kelly Snyder, 935 Atlantic Street, Troy. I didn't know we were going to be talking about that stuff tonight, the scooters and things. I'm actually here to thank the city for Rock the Block. It was in my neighborhood, Hollywood, and that neighborhood tends to get forgotten. At least we feel like it's forgotten. It may not truly be, but it feels like it. So I really appreciate all the work that Habitat did and the volunteers in the city. It was very appreciated, and I'm just glad you did it. So thank you. And now I want to talk about the scooters, bikes, whatever they are. So we spent a lot of time talking to the kids about what is and isn't allowed. Somebody said they argue with you. I think Madison said that. And they do. Because it's not clear on that poster, because there are so many different varieties out there now. And I know you can't cover everything. I actually had talked to Chief about doing an education class with those kids, because we see them every day. We can corral them. They will come in and do it if we require it of them to be there. Like if they want to park their bike out front, then you have to take this class. I am more than happy and willing to work with the city on that. I think it's something that needs done. I am a zero tolerance person on this. I think they should be confiscated if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then it goes back to the parent, because honestly, the parents are allowing them to purchase these things. They're allowing them to ride without helmets. They're allowing them to ride without proper education. It's got to stop. We can't do it. They're not our kids. So, but we are willing to work with you. So let me know what we can do to help you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you very much.
It's not just kids.
No,
it's not.
I was at Knucklehead getting my hair cut, talking to Patrick on the phone, and some very good rider, because he had a fancy bike and the shoes and the helmet and everything, went to zooming straight past on the sidewalk, right up North Market Street, right past the barber shop, and right past, all the way up past Agave and Rye. And
I know. We see adults do it too, and I think that's part of the problem. And the kids see that, and they're like, well, that adult's doing it, why can't I? But we do have a little bit of more access to those kids that hopefully if we can teach them and, make some consequences there, then hopefully as they become adults and they're riding them more, they will understand, you know, what the rules are and how they can be safe on them. I grew up in the country, and so, you know, hopping on a mini bike was no big deal. You'd ride up and down the country roads, but in town it's just so much different. And so I don't think these kids truly understand the safety issue that's involved. I saw a kid cross over a catty corner from the old Dave Murray building across Market and Water there. He had another kid on the back with him and just zoomed across, cars going. I was terrified. I called his dad and was like, hey, I just saw this happen. And his dad did take it away for like 2 weeks, but then he's back on it and doing the same thing. So I don't know. I think confiscating them and maybe requiring before they get it back, they have to take some sort of education class. I don't know, but we're willing to.
So this puts an added burden on our police department,
It does,
too.
but what are they there for? They're there.
Well, so you have all
Sorry.
these classifications of bikes, and our police officers can't tell when they're just driving by. What
But
classification
if they're on
is
the
it?
sidewalk, they know they're not supposed to be on the sidewalk.
This is true, but
So-
they have to catch them, and we do not have enough police officers. It becomes incumbent on the parent.
Yes, but also, if you are downtown at 3 o'clock, you will catch them. I'm sorry, but if that is the issue and everybody's complaining about it, you've got to put the enforcement there.
It's not just downtown, though, I can tell you that.
Well, yeah,
Oh, no, they
I
have
mean,
to.
it is, I've seen a few police officers actually stopping some kids in our neighborhood who are driving those like maniacs, not paying attention.
Right.
And they have stopped. I don't know what came of it, but I do know they were talking to them about it. So it isn't just downtown.
It's not just
It is.
downtown, but that is.
I know it is a little bit more intense
It is.
downtown because there's a lot more foot traffic.
I think it's also easier to it's a
Sure.
grouped area.
It is.
Tight area.
Actually, you can sit at the funeral home and catch 2 or 3 every day.
Well, sure, across from the high
But,
school.
I mean, I don't know what the rules are outside of the downtown. I just know in downtown, they're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. No one with any sort of wheel thing is supposed to be on the sidewalk. So, to me, that's pretty easy to catch because they're there all the time. I also know many of our kids that have gotten verbal warnings and verbal warnings and verbal warnings. At what point does it become more than a verbal warning? Because I know they've gotten them, and then nothing goes further. So, I mean, I love those kids.
And then you get into
But I also-
law.
Well, but is not our current regulations, no one downtown's allowed on a bike on the sidewalk?
On the sidewalk, yeah.
And no one over the age of 13 anywhere else? I know it's a hard enforcement thing, but if you catch them on the sidewalk downtown, that would be easier than the neighborhoods.
Well, that goes back to my comment to answering Mrs. Marshall, and that we are having
And
zero
that's
tolerance, and we're
Fantastic.
increasing.
That's what we need to do. Because I think if you catch a few of the kids and put some enforcement to them, they're going to talk to their buddies, and it will be cut down considerably.
They do. Yeah. So,
And yes, we do need personnel to do that. I understand that, but
right. I mean, I get that too, but I think if you're going to crack
I mean, I
down,
don't
you know, you've got to put the people in place to make it happen.
yeah, I don't think anybody's blaming the police or anything, because you do have to catch them, but
I would like to say, while we're kind of on this subject with the downtown renovation, every time I tell somebody that there are literally signs that say they're not to be on the sidewalk in the square, not one person has ever told me they've seen them. So maybe when we redo everything, we make them a little more visible somewhere, somehow. I don't know, just an idea.
I know they're there, but I honestly couldn't tell you where they are.
I can't either. I've never seen one. I just know I've heard in this chamber that they exist.
So anyway, I just want to let you know, we are willing to work with whatever the city would like to do. We definitely want to help with that. So, okay.
Thank you, Kelly.
very appreciated. Thank you. Anyone else?
Speaking a second time, Matt Breen, 1435 Edinburgh Drive, Troy, Ohio. I just want to encourage that in all the discussion about the bikes and what we do about them, that remember that providing places to use them is another way to go about it. And we have a lot of housing developments going in. There's one going in right by my place, and I know there's only a walking path. There is no designated area for biking there. I would love to be able to take my bike from my house on the other side of Troy into work over at Novacell, and I have to cross a highway if I were to do that, and there is no designated bike lane, and it makes me feel unsafe when I do so. I do wear the proper gear, and I encourage everybody else to do so and not go on the sidewalks as well, but we should consider that as part of our development process to encourage the use and construction of bike lanes as part of all the development that we do. Thank you.
I would sir, with you working at Novacell, that's part of my ward, and we just had a huge conversation over the last year or two about Crawford Street, so I would love, if it gets brought up again, for you to voice that.
Absolutely.
Because pretty much no one on Crawford wants it, so they don't understand why, what's the difference with a sidewalk versus a recreational path, why, you can ride in the street, so ride in the street, all those nuances.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great to have someone that would be useful to the recreation path, or that would use the recreation path to
Absolutely.
use their voice for it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I've been reading in the paper about two local communities that have run into some issues that I'd like for us to avoid. First one is Piqua. As we all know and love Piqua. It's easy to spell. But I guess the question I've got here is who in the city government is empowered to sign a NDA, non-disclosure agreement? Because apparently that's how these big companies wind up with electric needs and so on. They get somebody to sign an NDA, and they go on negotiating behind closed doors, and all of a sudden, ta-da, it's all done. So I guess the question is there anybody in this city government authorized to sign an NDA, or is it just one or two people? And if so, do they have an obligation to report that to anybody?
I've never signed an NDA. I'm the one who's authorized to sign contracts and other official documents. I'm not sure that there's a carve-out that would allow an NDA unless it was a court-ordered NDA. Otherwise, it would probably be, with exceptions, I'm sure, but subject to public records. I'm also not aware that Piqua actually signed government officials actually signed an NDA. I know that there were quite a few between the developer and the end user, which has nothing to do with the government as long as they don't have the paperwork. Once they have the paperwork, if they have the documentation and somebody asks for the paperwork, I don't believe that it can be kept confidential. So the trick is you just don't accept the paperwork, and it's all between the private parties.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Kerber, I don't know.
Well,
anything else?
I can tell you that question hasn't been posed to me yet, so if that gives you any reassurance. But no, generally speaking, I guess it would depend upon the terms of the NDA. Troy's a statutory city. It's much different than many other communities, how they delegate authority amongst the different officers. I only have anecdotal, like what I've read in the paper, and that doesn't always tell the entire story. But I've read some of the same articles, and some of the commitments that were suggested that the city made under those NDAs, the thought crossed my mind that, how can one official make those sorts of things, at least under the city of Troy's form of government? Typically, a lot of those decisions wouldn't fly, just with one official doing it.
Okay.
So, I hesitate to just give you a blanket answer, Mr. Henderson, only because, it's sort of like saying a car is a car is a car. An NDA, it could be a different, there could be different features of it, and there could be different components within the NDA that, potentially there is some room that somebody does have some authority to do certain things. But I largely concur with Mr. Titterington's comments on that.
It should be the same as anybody signing a contract, as far as I'm concerned. And there's not everybody in the building that can sign a contract like
Right. And I don't disagree with that at all, yes.
Okay. The next question is Dayton. Their traffic cameras. A democratic city like Dayton somebody decided to pass on some of that information on the traffic cameras to ICE and some of the other places. And I guess the question in my mind is there any protections that we've got here? People, this is a lot more Republican than Dayton, Ohio. Somebody decides to help out ICE or whoever else and pass on information.
Traffic
like
cameras or the flock cameras?
Talking about the flock
Flock
cameras,
cameras.
not, we don't have the traffic and the speed and the red light cameras. We just had a conversation with the chief this afternoon. So we have agreements with adjacent states to share flock camera data. That is for official law enforcement only.
Right.
We only share with 2 federal agencies that are law enforcement agencies. We do not share it with ICE or Border Patrol.
Okay. Can you tell me which federal agencies they are? I'm not playing.
I sure will.
Trying to play Stump the Stars, but here's the question. We should all know the answer to that.
We share it with the U.S. Postal Inspectors, believe it or not, and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Okay, that's fine. You answered my question. Last question is, when's the door downstairs going to be fixed?
When's what?
As soon as
When's the door downstairs going to be fixed?
As soon as the weather cooperates and the wind and the rain and cold and the hot, because we're trying to restain the door and it just won't cooperate yet. Yeah. Everybody in City Hall asked that question.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
we thought you were, you were missing the orange cone, so we just put it there.
Right, exactly. Feel sorry for the people that got to keep it clean. Thanks for your time.
Anyone else?
Can I just make one quick comment
Sure.
again about the flock cameras? Because I have had discussions with the Service and Safety Director and the Chief about those as well. Just as a measure of record keeping, every authorized law enforcement officer who has access to that has a code they use. So if they look up a camera, that is registered. So if someone from outside looks at that, that would be registered and we could see who's using that. So it's not just, as far as I understood with my discussions, it's not just blanket everyone at that agency can use that. They would be personally tracked through their use of that camera. I believe that's correct. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public? All righty.
I would like to make a motion for City Council to recess into executive session to confer with legal counsel concerning disputes that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Schilling, second by Mr. Phillips. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mrs. Marshall?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
Motion is adopted.
Other than that, you're welcome to stay, not knowing what time we'll be back out. But that's all the business we're going to do tonight, and our next meeting is June 1st.
Back into session.
Second.
Motion to reconvene our council session by Mr. Schilling, second by Ms. Hickman. Please call the roll.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling?
Yes.
And Mrs. Marshall is not here. Motion's approved.